She's sacked him. A great bull rush by Chris Jones.
He's not banking on the skill that he's been blessed with.
It's a Kelsey. Great catch. Touchdown. Kansas City, the 10. Still not down. Oh, what a run. Out of this world. Sinks it up the middle. Intercepted. Intercepted by Matthew. The Honey Badger doesn't care.
And welcome to this winning edition of Chiefs Rewind. There's the reaction. The kick is no good. And yeah, that's Patrick Mahomes on the 67-yard attempt by Sly of the Carolina Panthers. Would have been an all-time NFL record. Instead, the Chiefs hang on. They go to 8-1 with a 33-31 victory. Honestly, it's the game that you and I anticipated. We thought Carolina would be like this.
Man, we knew that you could scrub the records, that Coach Rule was going to come in with a good coach team, and they was going to play for 4 quarters. And no matter what the score going into those final few minutes, if there was some air and opportunity, they was going to make the most of it, and they did. They made as much hay as you could find to come here to Arrowhead Stadium. They got everybody a little bit nervous, but we withstood their best punch to win a game 33-31.
Yeah, another record-setting day for Patrick Mahomes. We'll get to that later, but let's go to Andy Reid now, who's at the podium.
Listen, I think you're seeing the best of him right now, and some of it you might not see. So the things he does behind the scenes, and then whether it's look-offs, the small, subtle things. You heard Richard Sherman talk about it the other day, just the little intricacies of the offense and how he handles it. And everybody has full confidence in him doing his job. So I think EB would, say the same thing standing up here, that we have full confidence that he'll do what he needs to do to win a game. I mean, that's how he operates. And whether he's doing it during the week by showing up and working his tail off to make sure he knows the opponent, to what you see on game day.
Let's go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Coach, congrats on the game plan and win. I know it's a long game that was back and forth, but a lot of people are going to be talking about that motion quarterback play that you hit Robinson for the touchdown. I'm wondering if you could share the origins of how that came to be.
Yeah, so the last 3 weeks, Pat's been messing around with it. And so I told him, I said, we're going to put it in. And he looked at me like I was crazy. But he'd been doing it, and it looked good. So it looks good, let's try it. And so we tried it. He goes down there during special teams, and he was messing around with a couple things. And so we put it in, and it worked.
Let's go next to Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach. I was just curious if you could speak to Travis's day and what he was able to do for you guys on offense.
Yeah, I thought Travis was unbelievable. He had one of those days. Just anytime big play needed, both he and Tyreek made them, and so proud of those two, and how mature they are and how they've handled everything and grown as men. Most of all. So, but Trav had an all-pro day, which he is, but we never take that stuff for granted. Whether it's Kels, Trav, so on, or Tyreek. I mean, even though these guys are some of the better players in the league, we never take that for granted. I appreciate all their hard work and what goes into it to get that show done on game day.
Let's go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Andy, wanted to ask you the idea of teams obviously being aggressive, similar to what Sam McDowell asked earlier, but when you know a team is trying to be as aggressive as possible against you, does that alter your game plan in any way, shape, or form as you sort of see the game playing out in front of you?
Yeah, so, I thought it was important that we at least attempted to keep the defense off the field. I mean, we had some fairly quick scores, but at the same time, we want to put as many points on the board as we possibly can. I mean, that came in handy today. So, it's not the old four corners stall here. We got to try to score, and it's hard to do in this league. But we had a couple opportunities that got past us early, but we came back and were able to get some nice shots in there that we needed. But we try to stay aggressive. To answer your question, we're going to try to always stay aggressive. Yes.
Let's go next to Herbie Tiopi. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach, from the press box, it seemed like Daniel Sorensen was shadowing Christian McCaffrey. If that was indeed the plan, how do you think Sorensen did in that matchup?
Yeah, so the plays that he was asked to do it on, I thought he did a good job. listen, McCaffrey's a pretty good player and had a pretty good day. So we tried a couple different things on him. You got to give him different looks. And so we tried that. But listen, great players make great plays. And whether it was a big catch or his runs, they did a nice job. But I tell you, Sorensen, I thought played a respectable game there.
Got time for a couple more guys. We'll go Vahe and then Aaron. Go ahead, Vahe.
Hey, Andy. One other thing about Travis. Early in the third quarter, it seemed you guys might have maybe needed a little jump start, that 44-yard pass to set up the touchdown. Can you just describe that play a little bit and whether it gave you that kind of juice?
Yeah, we did. We needed a jump start right there. And so he gave it to us. It was an out and up, I think is the one you're talking about. And so he did well with it. And Pat threw him a nice ball, big play. I mean, he had several big plays. I think that's one you're talking about.
Let's go last to Aaron Ladd. Go ahead, Aaron.
Coach, second game in a row where I'm going to ask you about this balance between the pass game and the run game. Are we just reading too much into it, or what do you think? Is there something leading to that disconnect?
Yeah, so we played two good run teams in a row here. Both these two are pretty solid up front. So we felt like the pass game we could execute that maybe even better than the run game, although we had some production there. And, we're going to try to do what works that particular week and roll with it. So we've got good running backs, but if teams are going to try to take that away, then, they got to also think about the throw game. So.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Yep, thanks again. Maybe even better than the run game.
Andy Reid, Chiefs get the victory 33-31. He mentioned Travis Kelce. He's gone to another level, in my opinion, both as a receiver and as a blocker. And right now he has no equal in this league. We're going to get to him and Mahomes a little bit later. But I want to ask you about defense first of all. This defense had to defend 76 plays in this game. And I thought Teddy Bridgewater, who I admire maybe as much as anybody as an opponent in this league, he looked like Russell Wilson out there. Chiefs blitzed him into submission, still couldn't stop him.
Man, one of the biggest plays he made was definitely that 4th and 17 where he ran for a first down to keep the game alive. But he was just fine-tuned today. He was throwing it controlled, never seemed rushed, never seemed like the moment was too big for him. Definitely got the ball in the receiver's hands very early in the counts, and then was able to sidestep some free hitters. We brought some pressure, some blitz. We had some free hitters with a chance to get him sacked, and he was able to escape and still make throws down the field. So, I mean, you take your hats off to Teddy Bridgewater because he's been making those type plays his entire career. And if it wasn't for some poorly timed injuries throughout his career, he might be carried in the level and in the expectation of being a top 10 quarterback in the league. But unfortunately for him, it's always been the missed opportunities, the throws he's missed, and just the lack of going down the field against our defense. I don't know if you can continuously for 4 quarters accept the single digit throws, because eventually, as you can tell from our offense, we go uptown, we go up top, we take the top off of your defense, and before you know, the scoreboard is flipped, and now you're playing from behind.
I'm going to mention someone who doesn't get mentioned a lot, but I thought he was exceptional today, and that was Tano Passanio.
Okay.
Either holding the edge or playing gap control. Now, McCaffrey got some stuff, but he wasn't peeling off 25-yard runs. Mm-hmm. And Tano does a lot of stuff that we just kind of take for granted. I mean, he's a steady Eddie Freddy guy, but today there were times he made some exceptional plays, I think.
Well, I think their offensive line is probably one of the most underrated offensive line, because even when they don't have Christian McCaffrey, even when they have Mike Davis, they still are a very functional offense. They still move the chains. They control the time of possession. So everything we saw happen today, it wasn't a factor of them getting Christian McCaffrey back. That's the way their offense is already built. And I think it's the guys up front. Their offensive line has always been one that tries to control the line of scrimmage. And our D-line, even though it doesn't come up in the stat column, we didn't sack them a lot. But we did play, I would say, even ball as far as the line of scrimmage that allowed our defense to arise to the occasion late in the game and make a few plays to savage and save this offense. Save this team to have a victory today.
Chiefs win at 33-31, another record-setting day for Patrick Mahomes. Let's hear now from the MVP quarterback.
Good, man.
Hey, Patrick, if you're at liberty to do so, can you tell us what that play is called?
It's called Ferrari Ride. Let's go next to Todd Lebo. Go ahead, Todd.
Patrick, when you're sitting there in the first quarter and it seemed like probably 20 minutes of real time, you're sitting over on the sideline watching them go down there. Do you kind of get the feeling early you guys are going to be in an all-day game that's going to take everything you have to get through it?
We knew that coming in. I mean, if you watch the tape of the Panthers play, I mean, every single game, no matter who they play, they've been right in it. So we knew it was going to be a dogfight. We knew it was going to be something we're going to have to bring our best game. And obviously, we've learned from our previous experiences of we've had teams that have kind of held the ball out of the offense's hand and try to really milk the clock. And we understand that every opportunity and every drive is crucial. And so we learned from that of losses that we've taken in the past, and we went out there and found a way to win the game today.
Next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Patrick, along those lines, the Carolina went on that, 9-10 minute drive to start the game. Do you have to kind of calm yourself down a little bit, or maybe your teammates as well? Hey, we don't have to make it all up in one play. You need to keep some patience that it's a long game.
I think that just comes with experiences that we've had. We've been in these type of games before, and we haven't had as much success. And so I think guys were ready to go and knew how critical that first drive was to get a drive going, get our defense some time to rest up. And we did a good job of moving it down the field and getting 3 points on the board. And so it's something that you have to learn from your experiences and really just play the game no matter what the situation is.
Let's go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
You're on your side, bro.
I'm just talking, y'all. Y'all know that.
All right, with us now on our Chiefs Rewind show as the Chiefs win 33-31 over the Carolina Panthers to go 8-1 is the Shark himself. So the Coast Guard is out. They're on alert on Salute to Service Day, including the Coast Guard. Frank, congratulations on the win. Man, what a hard-fought win. I said Teddy Bridgewater reminded me of your old teammate. He played like Russell Wilson today.
Oh, man. That guy, he has a lot to prove. Hasn't been at this point in the league for the last 3 years, you say, just watching him being back out there, it's inspiring, But as a competitor, that man, he did everything possible for his team to win today. We ran out there with the win, at the house, in front of our fans and stuff like that and family, and that's what we always want to happen. You don't want to come into Arrowhead, you want to defend your home, you want to die on that field like my boy Tyron always say. And, just watching Teddy out there, watching him basically, get back in the groove of things for football, man, it's dope, man. Just seeing another guy who you support and who you always, like, watch the game and stuff like that, respected his game and stuff, do what he's doing right now.
Frank, tell me, we always talk mindset. Me and you always talk mindset. We talk about that championship mindset you have when you talk about coming into a game. You're facing a team that's 3-5. They're a losing squad, but on film, when you get ready and prepare for this team, they don't look like 3-5 during the week when you're preparing for the red zone, when you're preparing for 1st and 10, third down pressures. The team that we face today is not a 3-5 ball club. So tell me about your mindset as far as leading this defense against a team that obviously plays a lot harder and plays with more efficient than a 3-5 ball club.
Man, the main thing is just keeping everything the same. You know what I mean? That was the one thing we talked about last week. You got a team that comes in last week and it's, they have a bad record and things like that. But so it was just the focus was just to keep on going. To never let up just because of their record or what the media is talking about. Keep all that stuff over there, and we need to focus and treat each team like a championship opportunity each game. And that's the one thing we want to do. Had some mistakes here and there. I know myself personally, I had like a call or two probably that I should have played better as far as just understanding the defense and what was given out there. But it's just stuff like that where we can let a few things get away from us, or it didn't affect me doing that didn't affect us as much, or some of the things may not have hit as much. But it's teams watching football. You know what I mean? They're watching week to week, seeing who's messing up, seeing who's out of that gap just a little bit, so we can attack that, so we can expose that. I think it was a play where Teddy was down, where they was down in the red zone. They tell us when Teddy's in the red zone 5 yards in, he's gonna run the ball. He wants the ball more in his hands. Sort of like Deshaun Jackson, sort of like Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson. These quarterbacks, they want the ball in their hand, and their coach is telling them, take the ball, take control. You're our quarterback, And that was it was a play where he hiked the ball. It was a QB draw up the B gap to my side after we had went to a pressure, and it was just him understanding the game. He's one of the smartest quarterbacks in the league. People don't really understand that.
Frank, I got to ask you, because on the play-by-play on your sack, I said Teddy thought he was safe. He was on the beach. The shark jumped off. This time the shark jumped out of the water and grabbed it off the beach. We talk about Patrick being patient. But how patient were you on that play? And sometimes you have to be, because like you waited, and then you struck. What about how your tactic on that sack alone?
It's just some of my opportunities, they come in weird ways because the way teams, they block me, the way they blocking me and Chris together, just the things that's happening like that. So a lot of times, with my game, I can play fast. I play fast. But sometimes, one of my things that I told myself I wanted to correct was playing a little bit slower and understanding what was coming at me sometimes. You know what I mean? Like on that play, if I would have played fast, I could have, ran up the field, came around, did a spin, went under. He would have did the same thing. But it was just something was telling me, like, man, just be patient. You know what I mean? You've been playing the game a little fast. And that was probably one of our first third down opportunities coming out the half. And I was just telling myself, like, man, just be patient. Be patient. That was a first down. I was just like, be patient. It's going to come to you. And that was kind of how I thought about it, that play.
Well, I know this defense is definitely going to do some during the bye week. It's going to take some time to self-evaluate. And that's, you always, like you're saying, when you're a championship defender, you got to be one of your toughest critics is yourself. Yes. And so man for man, if you take some time to look at the film, make the corrections and be ready for the second half of the season, obviously, as we breach bye week and prepare for the second half of the season. But can you name what are you excited about on a personal level to try to reach for and achieve with the second half of the season at our doorstep?
The biggest thing I love about the second half of the season is just the fact that me knowing what type of player I am in the second half of the season individually. I call myself probably the best in the world when it comes to finishing the season, whether it's the season or the postseason. Sort of because I get my you get that second win. Yeah. And just in my eyes, I start feeling bad for all the offenses and offensive tackles. I told him I give him half the season. I give him some good Frank. The other half, I got to be me. So that's sort of what's about to happen.
Frank, thanks for being with us. Congrats on the victory. Stay safe, my friend, during the bye week. Let's get after these next ones. So,
man, I appreciate y'all. You guys do the same. I'm sorry we ain't gonna have nothing for y'all to, talk about next week, but it's cool. 2 weeks, we got y'all. Family.
We'll be ready. Go get him, buddy. Stay safe.
All right, y'all.
Frank Clark. Yeah. And I mentioned he jumped up on the shore to get him on that one because it looked like Teddy's like, I'm good. And then when he decided to go, it was so fast. Teddy's like, I'm not good anymore.
Yeah, it was a trap, and that's what you do when you're a guy like Frank Clark. He beats you with speed so many times. He sets the offensive guy up to not be ready for a more dedicated, slow process when he jumps outside, jumps inside, and then waits for the quarterback to make a move first. And then while the whatever rush lane the quarterback takes, he meets him right there. Sometimes you have to be a little bit more patient, and it's not just about technique up the field, getting to the quarterback. Sometimes you have to let your patience, let things develop a little bit, and then be strong enough and smart enough like Frank was on that play to set the trap and then release the beast.
Very impressive. Let's go back to Patrick Mahomes, who's at the podium.
Congrats, Patrick. We've asked you iterations of this before, but it was 30 targets today for Tyreek and Trav. Just how fortunate do you feel that these weapons landed in the situation with you and Andy and sort of all you guys together in it, together?
You said 30, huh? God. It's they're two special players. They really understand the offense. They know how to get themselves open, and they're hard guys to cover one-on-one. And so whenever they're working like that, we're a hard offense to stop. And you see guys that when they get their number called too, they make plays as well. And so I think it's a combination of everything, of them being as skilled as they are, them being as smart as they are, and then other guys, whenever they get their number called, making plays as well.
Let's go next to Vahe Gregorian. Go ahead, Vahe.
Hey, Patrick, a little along the same lines, can you take us through the 44-yard pass to Travis that kind of got you started in the third quarter? And then just one follow-up real quick, Brad, after that.
Yeah, I believe that was the one where he kind of ran like the out and up. Was it that one? Yeah. So the out and up one, we run that play a lot where we kind of have Trav in that position. He runs a lot of out routes and in routes. And so after we had ran it earlier in the game, we had noticed that they were really trying to drive it and really trying to make plays on the ball. And so when we got the right opportunity, we called that play, and it was a great call, and he ran a great route, and I was trying to get the ball to him, and it kind of got the drive going again, and we were able to go down and put points on the board.
And just the follow-up is just it seems like such a reliable relationship between Travis and you in particular, that almost you can take it for granted. Do you feel that way?
No, I mean, it's something that I will never take for granted. I mean, to come into this offense, and I'd never played with a tight end before, and then to get the best tight end in the league, I mean, it's special, and it's something that I always have a guy that I know where he's going to be at, and he's going to continue to work.
Let's go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Patrick, I have two quick questions as well. The first one is, what do you feel like you said that convinced Andy to let you try the Ferrari ride today?
Well, I don't know if I said anything, but there's a time and when we're kind of going and we're kind of doing a little, what's it called, like a walkthrough for the defense. And so in that walkthrough, he kind of gives us a little opportunities to do a little stuff that we kind of wanted to try out. And I did it there, and I think he liked how it looked there. So you have to show him. He has to see proof of it working in a live situation before he's going to put it in there.
Got three more. We'll go right down the line, starting with Sam. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Patrick, just a couple minutes ago, Andy said that we're seeing the best of you, that this is the best that you've played. A lot of times that's spoken in the context of, like only one interception, right, this season. But I'm wondering if you think it's more than that. Like, are there big plays, positive plays that you're capable of making now that you weren't last year, 2 years ago? Or is it mostly sort of the bad plays are going down?
I think I just understand the game more. I was saying it last year whenever I didn't have as many stats to kind of back it up. I guess you say I felt like I was playing better last year than I did the year before. And so this year, obviously, we're getting the touchdowns that we didn't have last year, I guess you would say. But I feel like every single year I'm more comfortable within the offense. I'm more comfortable reading defenses. And I understand where the ball's going to go even before the snap of the ball.
Go next to Darren Smith. Go, Darren.
Hey, Patrick, a couple quick questions, but the first one being, they're going to ask you about the game, but obviously with the bye week coming up, what's that look like for you? I know you all been playing, balling out these last few weeks, and after today's game, I know you're going to be looking to take a break. And so how does this bye week look for you? And then again, I have a quick follow-up.
Yeah, the bye week for me is going to be I'll probably take a day off tomorrow, maybe come in and watch the film on the game today, and then I'll probably work out the next few days and then watch the Masters on the weekend. But I'll be pretty in tune. I mean, we got a pretty big one coming up after the bye week, so I'll be ready to go for that one for sure.
And then, just looking at it from 30,000 feet, obviously you and your fiance, you're going to be expecting a Princess Mahomes girl very shortly. What's it going to look like for her, knowing what all that you just got through doing with this voter registration stuff and the election, that she'd be able to, when she'll be able to grow up and watch on television, seeing a vice president that looks like her when she comes apart? And do you all plan on visiting the White House in the near future when they get there?
Well, I haven't heard what the White House thing's going to happen. I know we were kind of going through that this last offseason with the COVID situation, and hopefully we can get another championship and then have another opportunity to do that as well. But it's going to be cool. I mean, for her to be able to see someone that looks like her in such a high position, such a great position that is distinguished and has so much respect. I mean, it's going to show her that she can do whatever she wants to do. And I'm going to try to do whatever I can to give her those opportunities. And so it's going to be new to me, but I'm excited for the experience and the challenge of trying to be the best dad that I can be.
Last to Matt and Derek. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Patrick, after the missed extra point, it looked like you had gone over and gave a hug to Harrison Butker and had some words for him. I'm just curious, what you said to him, and with the struggles with the extra points, I mean, how important has it been just for him to have the team's back?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've seen him do it before. And as far as what I said, I mean, all I said was he's one of the best kickers and not the best kicker in the league. Just go out there and kick the ball. I mean, don't take it as serious. We got your back regardless. You're just as important as every other person on this team. It maybe more important. And so for him, we have all of the ultimate trust in him to go out there every single time he hits the field.
Patrick, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
The most exciting wide receiver in the National Football League, the all-purpose man of the Chiefs today, 2 touchdowns again, finding the sweet nectar of the end zone. Now over 50 touchdowns in his career, Tyreek Hill. Well done today, man. How much patience did you have to show in this game, and how much toughness against these guys?
You know what? We knew that this game was going to be a mindset game. They got a very physical defense, very physical secondary. So we just had to go out and continue what we've been doing all year, and that's playing fast and having fun.
Well, big play after big play. This team it seemed like they was hell-bent on keeping y'all from making the big play. But sooner or later, y'all found a way to take the top off the defense. Can you explain to us kind of maybe what that call was that led to the long touchdown to you?
Man, that's just Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, and their just creativity, and just getting us open. McCole had the sweet spot, clearing it out for me. The corner carried him, and I was able to, pop open on the very other side. So, like I said, that's just Andy Reid creativity right there. And my job is easy, just running it open, you know. So Pat probably has the hardest job, you know, reading it all out and then just making the throw. So that's just Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, and Pat, you know what I'm saying, just being special.
Well, let's talk about Tyreek Hill being special, because you and I have talked. We even talked during the offseason this year about red zone and making plays in the red zone. Not big plays. You get a 2-yard touchdown at the pylon. What have you learned about running those kind of routes and making plays there where it's 3rd down and you need a 2-yard catch instead of a 82-yarder?
Well, you know what? Everything in the red zone happens quicker, you know. So I got to quicken my route up. I got to be physical at the point of point of attack, you know, and just be the cheater, baby. You know, use my quickness to get open, and that's what I did on the route. It was a phase stop, and Pat put the ball in a perfect location, and I was able to make a play on it.
Well, coming into your own as one of the top receivers in the league, I know every receiver gets asked the same question. You know, do you consider yourself the best? The one thing I've acknowledged about you since you got to the Kingdom is I think I've seen more progress. I've seen more growth in your abilities as a complete wide receiver than I've seen in any other wide receiver in the league. So in my book, you are the top wide receiver in the league. Can you tell us something about something you've done in the offseason to even this fine-tune your game to really being a complete wide receiver?
Just being able to run my routes full speed, you know. Most DBs fear speed, you know, so I want to be able to run my routes full speed and also get in and out of my breaks at full speed. So, you know, I spent my whole offseason working on that. I mean, obviously I can catch the ball, you know, short, deep, you know. So for me, it's just like working on in and out of breaks. So that's what I did this whole offseason with my dad, with Coach Dub, Keith Williams from Nebraska. And, I mean, the sky's the limit for me. I mean, I'm still working. I don't consider myself as the best. You know, I don't get into all that. You know, I'm just here to win games. Right? So that's been my motto.
51 touchdowns, my friend, and you're just at 4.5 seasons in this league. A final question has to deal with handling this bye week. When we're seeing daily news around the league, right, with the COVID, and now it's the bye week time, but you're a leader in this locker room, either by the words that you do, what you say, or your actions. What is the message here for all of us to try to handle this bye week so we can finish the season and run it back?
I mean, just continue. I mean, just continuing the things that, you know, the Chiefs put in place, you know, for us, you know, whether that's wearing a mask wherever you go, whether that's going out to eat, grocery shopping, you know, going to the park with kids, you know, just being aware of those situations and just, you know, taking care of yourself and being a pro, you know. So I'm gonna continue to preach that to the wideouts, to the whole team, you know, because we need everybody, you know. As you see, like, we need everybody, like, in crucial moments, you know, for games like this. So,
and you have this family, but you also have your own family to take care of and protect too. So big there. But hey, great job today, my friend. Tough game, over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, 51 in your career. Take a bow, my friend. Enjoy your bye week and be safe.
Hey, thank you. Hey, Mitch, by the way, that call you did for, I believe, Frank, you was like, Frank got a fish. The shark got a fish. That was amazing, man. I loved it. I loved it, man. You keep that up. I loved it, man.
It's all for you, Cheetah.
All right, gentlemen.
All right. Appreciate the Cheetah critiquing those play-by-play calls. Man, love that dude. He's come so far. A couple things to wrap up as we close it out. The Chiefs go to 8-1 going into the bye with a 33-31 win. First of all, Patrick Mahomes, history-making today, Shop. 101 yards passing in just his 40th game. That's the fastest any human has done it in NFL history. Marino did it in 44 games. He has 25 touchdown passes and 1 pick. We've both run around this game a long time. I've never seen it like this.
Well, it equates out, if you put a second half of the season, to somewhere around 48 touchdowns and 2 interceptions for a entire season. That's on the level of some of the most elite seasons we've ever seen in the history of this game. And for the amount of times and opportunities that he has to throw the ball, to think that you only can pick him off 2 or 3 times a year with as much as we stretch the field and go and throw it and make him have to make plays. I mean, it's amazing what he does, but it also just plays right into the formula that we said. Pat's a way to his mental preparation, the way he adjusts, the way he can adjust on the run in the middle of a string of plays is just phenomenal. And I think marrying him up with offensive minds like Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy, almost, when you talk about almost making an offense unstoppable, the amount of input they can change on the fly and what they can do with an offense as far as sets, shifts, motions. We saw Ferrari Wright come out of the bag. It's a simple suggestion. A simple suggestion sparks, ignites. What can we do with the suggestion? And for a upcoming team playing defense, that's a nightmare.
The other thing is Travis Kelce today, huge game, was closing in on a career high, but still it's his 22nd 100-yard receiving game. His blocking has almost been as good as receiving this year, but that's only the great Tony Gonzalez has more with 26. But here's the other thing. You look at 100-yard receiving games, you dig in a little further. What did they do with those games? Travis Kelce has 17 wins and 5 losses when he catches 100 yards receiving. He will wear a gold jacket someday in Canton, Ohio. He was magnificent in this game.
I think that Kelce is going to look back at this game and he's going to be so hard on himself about the few times where he was a little loosey-goosey with the ball. He knows high and tight, can't let that defense get film of opportunities to separate him from the ball. So even with the 159 yards off of 10 catches, he is so detailed orientated that he's going to be so hard on himself about the way he carries the ball this game. I bet there's going to be a long bye week of him being on the jug machines, having guys trying to punch the ball out. That's just the character of this team. But they just continue to try to force themselves to evolve and get better, even off of a win.
But that 44-yarder out and up, he had the golden goose in both arms in that one. That changed the game. And the Chiefs win at 33-31. A couple more things before we go off here. One is the fact that the bye week's coming up. Again, join us in 2 weeks. It's going to be Raiders Week Part 2, 2.0. There won't be any sneaking up on the Chiefs this time. Now, we're going to watch the Raiders slug it out here now. They're playing this week and next week. But that game in Vegas could be something special.
I want the Raiders to get healthy and get ready because we come into town and we're coming with some bad intentions. Frank Clark talked about the second half of the season. You're going to see a bad Frank. You're going to see the bad guy get unleashed. And I think this whole team is going to take a little bit of a edge, a little bit of an emotional adjustment going into this bye week. And you're going to see like some fire and brimstone in the eyes of our team as we unleash in week 11.
And finally, your son's getting the chance to help Alan Wright. He's the longtime equipment manager, but his whole crew. All right, the Salute to Service game in Kansas City means more than just, let's just have a game and wear some clothes. This patch was given to both you and me. It is to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II, the greatest generation. When I started the radio play-by-play today, I gave examples throughout the Chiefs Kingdom of Medal of Honor recipients, all who gave their life during World War II. I'm going to close this way and get your comment. In digging in my research, I found one of the 7 African Americans who was received the Medal of Honor, and it was Private First Class Willie James, a native of Kansas City, Missouri. He received the Medal of Honor for bravery in Europe during the Allied assault on Nazi Germany. He took out a machine gun nest to basically save his platoon. It wasn't just a few days after that he was killed by enemy machine gun fire on 8 April 1945. The war in Europe ended 1 month later to the day. We're losing the greatest generation almost by the day. The real travesty here is if we forget them and what they did. Courage, honor, duty, unselfishness. And guys like Private First Class Willie James. But we're going to close it that way because we need to always remember, as long as the Lord gives you and I days on this earth, to remind our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren of the greatest generation.
Well, one of the things I'm so excited about is I see guys on Twitter. I see members of our team on Twitter salute the service, thanking the military for all their sacrifice. And we talk about the 4 things. How can you educate yourself? How can you engage with your community? How can you empower others that don't have the power? And then equipped. And we talk about equip, you talk about that next generation. And so we talk about my son, Nico, who's working with the Chiefs and the equipment staff. And how am I equipping him to handle whatever's going on in our community? It's a level of respect. We respect our community, we respect our service members, and we respect our leaders, whoever it is. It's all about bringing the the nation together to unite and be better tomorrow than we are today. And we keep pushing that on. We got to communicate. We got to trust one another, but we have to have a passion with a purpose. And that's things that we do on an everyday basis. This team does it, and we see the results on the field. It's something that you can be proud of as a fan of the Kansas City Chiefs. It's the way Andy Reid runs his life, but also runs his team. And it trickles down through Brett Veach, from the owner, Mark Donovan. Everything in the Chiefs kingdom is done with the level of respect. We communicate, but we trust one another because we all have the same purpose.
So as we close, let's remember the women and men of the greatest generation 75 years ago, or we might not have been able to vote last Tuesday in this country, and it covered all race, creeds, and colors that served in World War II. So let's always remember them. We'll also remember this game, 33-31. The Chiefs go to 8-1. As we go into the bye week, the 3 W's: wash your hands, wear a mask, and watch your distance. Because now, really more than ever, probably going into the holidays, we're going to need to be disciplined and unselfish, in the words of Coach Reid. He's Shawn Barber, the shop, the barber shop, the Spider-Man. I'm Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs. Enjoy your bye week, and please stay safe.
Chiefs Rewind is brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Kansas City Chiefs, and by Community America Credit Union, the official banking partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.